Well, welcome back, everybody. We decided to continue our conversation, so that's why we look a little
Yes,
different.
just a little bit.
Yeah, so we're back. So I'm Billy, and I'll let.
Meliton. Meliton Cleaner Lie. Hopefully, not hopefully, actually it is. Mr. Las Vegas Pride 2026.
Yes. So our last conversation, we were kind of getting into some of um, the Supreme Court and
Yes,
kind of where you were describing the difference between progressive and conservative and
yes,
what it really means. So I'd love to kind of dive back into that to make sure that we didn't miss any of that.
yes. So it's funny because I'm just studying that right now from my criminal justice classes. And with the professor, we talked about it that there are two different type of courts in the Supreme Court when we're talking about them. One of them is the more liberal version of the Supreme Court, but it's more the progressive. But we need to differentiate between it, those two sentences. Just because it's progressive, it don't mean it's liberal. That's why we're messing it up. A progressive court, it's looking at the decisions as a living document, so it's evolving with time. When we're talking about a more conservative court, then we're talking about that they are interpreting the laws as it was supposed to be hundreds of years ago when they wrote the constitution. So I made an argument, and I think it's on the last video, that currently the court, I think it's a progressive court, just be going to the right, not the
Yeah, yeah, no, and
left.
it's such a interesting conversation because I think you can almost apply that to some other concepts as well. That the way we're looking at kind of left and right
Yes,
aren't necessarily what progressive and conservative mean. And
yes,
I think that's kind of where you're going with that
yes,
because it's interesting to look at the court that way because that's a totally different interpretation of what I consider progressive. It's really looking at how they're interpreting the Constitution and how it applies to the laws. And that's interesting, you know?
and if I really want to make a really rough statement here, so don't judge me when you listen, I do believe that currently the Republican Party are more progressive than the liberal, than the Democratic Party.
Yeah, you're gonna have to explain that because
Yes,
I don't know if I agree with you on that.
yes, but because I'm looking at the word of progressive, means
Okay.
that they try to change it, and they're changing the status quo currently, but in the right. They're changing it to the direction of the MAGA fans. The Democratic Party under the Biden administration, we didn't really change too much. We were going as a country as we were as been before under the Obama administration, and Biden and Obama was kind of doing the same things, little differences. But the Trump administration currently just bringing out new and new ways, attacking the
Because
courts,
yeah, because they're
attacking
not
this.
following the Constitution, because they're not.
But that's
So
made them
you think that's more that falls under a progressive?
as the word progressive, like not liberal
Yeah,
progressive.
yeah,
They are, I think, they are a that this administration is more progressive than actually the Democratic Party because they just changing the status quo, but to the wrong direction.
yeah,
Progressive don't means that you're gonna change it to
yeah.
the left or right. It's just that we're
Well,
changing it.
I think there's different definitions.
Yes,
You know, I mean, I think the same way that words kind of evolve. I
yes,
think that I think you're right. I think that you can interpret it different ways, and I think progressive could be looked at the way that you're
yes,
describing it. But I think when you really talk about like current day progressive versus conservative, or liberal versus non-liberal views, I think that it's more attached to the ideology
yeah. It's
as
more
opposed to
attached to it.
yeah.
That's when is the problem comes from when
Yeah,
you're
but
looking at it in
I
the
think it's
law.
interesting. Yeah, I
When
like
you're
the
looking at it the
conversation.
law way,
Yeah,
the words, every word have a meaning, and you really need to be careful how you're putting those things because you can just mess it up. And yeah, maybe no, I believe that this administration is a progressive administration, progressively going towards fascism.
I definitely agree that they're going towards fascism, and I think it's interesting to see what Kinks is doing. The way free speech is being kind of attacked right now too is so interesting, and it's
Yeah,
really interesting to see the conservatives really kind of like having a backlash against that as well. That they don't want free speech being that hate speech, whether or not you agree with hate speech, that's still free speech, and that shouldn't be taken down, even though they're trying to claim that it's the left that has the hate speech. It truly is the right that has
It's always the right who
so
has the
much
hate
more
speech.
hate speech than anybody that. So it's interesting that they want to protect. They want to go after hate speech because they feel like it's being directed at them. But I don't know if they'll feel the same when that hate speech is being directed at like the left or my community.
It's
How
a
they're going to feel about that.
it's a hypocrisy all the way there.
A hundred
Again, back to
percent.
that hypocrisy thing.
Yeah.
The First Amendment issue has been argued millions of times in front of the Supreme Court. I did write a paper about it. It was fun. And there is no fucking way that whatever they're doing right now is gonna stand. So
I
even with
hope so.
the ABC situation, what is happening, they're gonna they they're gonna sue ABC for the firing, and after the Supreme Court gonna say that yes, the court that they were right to sue it because last year I just saw a post in 2024. I think in June there was already a Supreme Court decision about it. Exactly the same situation. It
Well,
was pushed for the
unless they
directions.
settle the way Paramount did, the way Paramount settled was they donated to Trump's presidential library. So they didn't actually give any money to him, and they can kind of claim that they didn't totally bend at the knee, but they settled. They gave millions of dollars to his presidential um,
Campaigning.
no, no, no. The library, the
Oh,
presidential library,
oh, the lovely
the
library.
library that hasn't been built yet, that I'm sure will be gaudy and gold and
Have
the
him
same
as a
way that
statue on the middle
I'm
with the
sure of it. Yeah, the same
golden
way that
statue.
he's doing the White House and everything. Like if you've seen how he's changed that to be like
Yeah,
gold lame and just
disgusting.
gaudy as hell. But he has to take away from his kinkles. So
Yeah, so it's
so it'll be
interesting.
interesting to see if that happens the same way CBS did it, because they're all scared about getting
Yes.
sanctions and getting the wrath of Trump.
Yeah, but I'm still saying I'm optimistic, and I think this craziness it's only gonna go on for the next year before we almost at the midterms. The
It'll
midterms
be
gonna change everything.
it'll be interesting to see what flips. If both the House and the
Probably.
Senate both flip, then it'll be interesting because then some guardrails will be up.
Oh, there is gonna be lots of goddess, and I
Yeah.
think we're gonna go to that. Gonna go for that 2 years of constantly impeaching him.
Well,
whatever he did, it's gonna be
if we
impeachment
get
after
both the
impeachment.
House and the Senate and they do not impeach him, then they are spineless.
No, they
It
will. They're gonna
it's
start the impeachment, but never gonna go through with the
which
impeachment.
which is crazy. Well, it should go through if we have the House and the Senate. There should be no reason. If they only control one of the two, then it's never going to
Yeah,
go through. But it should have both of them. It's ridiculous.
it's it's gonna be a fun 2 years.
It's
I can't wait to watch it.
definitely
It's
going to
gonna
be a
be,
fun 2 years.
and I'm gonna be on the middle of my law course. So studying law and everything changed. That's always fun.
I'm sure,
my
yeah.
my precedents are changing daily by daily. So whatever I study is like the next day is like, nope, that's not how we're doing it anymore. I'm like, wow, 100 years of progress went outside of the
Well,
window. That
I do think that just as easily as the pendulum has swung one way, I think that it can swing the other way. I think we talked about
yes,
that last time. I do think there's going to be a lot of things that he's eroded during this first year of his
yes,
presidency that are going to be a little difficult to kind of come back. But I also, if I'm being completely fair, and I'm not usually very fair to this administration, I think everybody agrees that there's some streamlining and there's some best practices that need to be put into place. That there definitely has been some bloating of some of these agencies and things like
yes.
that. I don't think anybody disagrees with that. What I think most of us, especially on the left, disagree with is how Elon Musk did it, how Doge did it. Those were the wrong ways. They went in like a bulldog in a china shop, and
And
that's not the right way to do it.
and they did something, but they had no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that's why. And we need to be clear about some things. That's why we have issues right now with multiple sectors inside the government. Like when we're looking at all of those plane crashes, that's because you fired the shit on fucking people who work
Yeah.
for the
I know.
government on the
I know.
airports. When we still fighting with the whole tariff situation, because we don't have enough fucking people to sit inside and actually come up with a good plan how to run these tariffs for these stupid. Just to say,
The tariffs, yeah, I know.
let's say tariffs. Americans pay the tariffs, not another countries.
Have you seen the most recent?
I'm just putting it out there for you
Have
guys.
you seen the most recent South Park?
No, I don't watch South Park.
Oh, you should. The most recent one, one of the town entrepreneurs owns an Asian wok shop, and he misinterpreted woke as wok, so he says wok is dead. So now he's selling Labubus. Labubus keep on going up in price, and he keeps on blaming it on the tariffs. And he keeps on telling the kids that come in, "Hey, we get the tariffs, but we don't pay the tariffs. You pay the tariffs. It's like hot potato. We pass it to you." And it's so true.
It
You know what
is.
I mean? The tariffs are coming right back to us. There's no, these companies are not paying the tariffs, and they're not absorbing the tariffs. They're passing it right through to us, so we're paying that. So Trump is really extorting Americans for these stupid tariffs that he's placed on everybody
Yeah, and,
in the
and the
world.
argument what he made up with it that, oh, they're gonna pay you so I can give you guys more checks for free. There's two comments for this for all of the Republicans who voted for him. First, no, he's not gonna give you just a free check. Second, if he give you a free check, that's called socialism. I'm just putting it out. Like, you are anti-socialist country. If your government give you a check for nothing, that's called socialism.
And which I'm all for. I'm a democratic socialist.
Me
so
too.
I'm all for
I'm
that.
a huge democratic socialist, but I
But
think
the third thing that I don't think you mentioned is just the mathematics of it. So even if Trump was to give it, Kinkos was to give us a check, and say that check was for $1,000. Well, how much more have I paid in tariffs? How much more has everything gone up? It's way higher than the amount that I
and a
would get in
thousand
a check.
dollars.
You know what I mean? So it's a grip. That's exactly he's his whole life has been a grip. His university, his stakes, his phones that he tried to do, his ugly shoes that he tried to do, his casinos, everything has been a grip, and nothing has been
He's
successful.
the only person who got bankrupted a casino.
Mm-hmm.
A casino.
I know.
No,
I know. Multiple casinos, not
multiple
just one.
casinos. How the hell can you bankrupt a casino when it's
I
free
know.
money going to your pocket?
I know.
That's why.
So this is just another form. The tariffs are another form of how Trump, how Kinks likes to grift on Americans, and what a horrible person he really is.
He is.
You know, he didn't pay contractors for most of his, developments that he did in New York. That's why, and how he has scammed all the nonprofits. So him and his family can't even run a nonprofit in the state of New York.
Yep.
I mean, come on. It's just the list just goes on and on and on, and it blows my mind that anybody would support that
It's a
horrible person.
it's a shame. It's a shame that this beautiful country, but I moved here, I got my citizenship, and I took an oath to the Constitution. And I'm just flabbergasted about what the hell are we doing. So it's a shame that we have a president who don't care, who never cared. And just to be clear, whoever is watching, he don't give a fuck about you as a person. Just I need you to understand, he don't care. He cares about his own pocket money, his own investors' money, and the fact that he is in power. He just wants power. He don't want to help you as a person, because if he would want to, he would have a complete different sanctions put out. Because everything what he did, it's against his own base so far since he is a president. Tariffs hurting the farmers. Where are the farmers? Red states. Cutting Medicaid. Where is the most Medicaid subscribed people? Red states. You are hurting your own base who voted for you. He don't care about average Americans, and he's not an average American. He's a multi-million dollars business person who never gave a fuck about it, and he's in the Epstein files.
100%. I co-sign
So
that.
he's a pedophile to the level.
Well, I appreciate you coming, and I appreciate you having this conversation. Thanks for doing the continuation of it.
Yes.
I know we'll do more of them.
For sure.
I love our energy. I think that this is a really fun conversation. So please like and subscribe and comment. Tell us what you think of Meliton, and we will have more of these. So thank you very much.
Thank you.